Imagine a giant root system spreading across a forest floor, absorbing everything in its path to feed one massive tree. In 16th century India, that root system was the Mughal Empire, led by Emperor Akbar. He was rapidly absorbing independent kingdoms to build a single empire where he held all the authority. For the regional kings, known as Rajputs, Akbar offered a standard deal. If they surrendered their independence, they would receive immense wealth, guaranteed security, and a high-ranking position within the empire's administration. This map shows the Indian subcontinent around that time, with the Rajput states highlighted in the northwest. Mewar sat in a very precarious position, almost entirely surrounded by other territories that had already accepted Akbar's terms. Yet the ruler of Mewar, Maharana Pratap, looked at this overwhelming imperial machine and said no. Rejecting this offer from the most powerful empire on earth was not an impulsive act of pride. It was a calculated and incredibly dangerous choice. To understand those risks, we have to look at the state of the kingdom Pratap inherited. Just 4 years earlier, Mewar's ancestral capital, the massive Chittorgarh fort, fell to a brutal Mughal siege. The loss of Chittor stripped Mewar of its richest lands and drained its wealth. Then, in 1572, King Uday Singh died, triggering a crisis. A younger son, Jagmal, tried to claim the throne. When the local nobles rejected him, Jagmal immediately defected to the Mughal side, giving Akbar valuable inside information about Mewar's weaknesses. The senior chieftains stepped in to stop the kingdom from collapsing. They bypassed royal favoritism to crown the eldest son, Pratap, because they knew they needed a capable warrior king to survive what was coming. When Pratap sat on the throne, he was taking control of a traumatized and economically exhausted kingdom. He was standing up to the Mughals at the exact moment their power was at its absolute peak. Akbar did not attack right away. He knew that dragging his massive army into the rugged mountains of Mewar would be a logistical nightmare. Instead, he launched a series of 4 diplomatic missions to test the new king's resolve. The first envoy arrived in November 1572. He offered the standard imperial terms, hoping to catch the new king while he was still settling in. Pratap received the mission with complete politeness, but he firmly refused to give any commitments. 6 months later, Akbar tried a different tactic. He sent Raja Man Singh, a fellow Rajput king who had already joined the empire. During a meeting near Lake Uday Sagar, Pratap refused to even eat dinner with him. Sharing a meal was a sign of equality, and in Pratap's view, Man Singh had compromised his dignity by serving a foreign ruler. Akbar sent an elder statesman next, hoping a more experienced voice could find a compromise. This mission had a small breakthrough. Pratap agreed to send his eldest son to the Mughal court. But the core demand, that Pratap attend and bow before the emperor himself, remained a firm no. Finally, in December 1573, Akbar sent his finance minister with a final ultimatum. He laid out the immense economic benefits of joining the empire, but Pratap declined the money and the terms once again. Through this countdown of no's, Pratap deliberately exhausted every diplomatic option. He made it perfectly clear to Akbar that a peaceful surrender would never happen. Akbar demanded 3 conditions from every king, known as the 3 C's: Chauth, or financial tribute, Chakri, or military service, and matrimonial alliances. To Pratap, this meant total surrender. Tribute would drain his treasury, sending soldiers left borders undefended, and marriage erased his lineage. Knowing that his rejection made an invasion inevitable, Pratap overhauled his entire defense strategy. He ordered the complete evacuation of the fertile plains, moving the farmers and their livestock into the hills. When the massive Mughal army finally arrived, they found empty fields and absolutely no local food to sustain them. He also abandoned his lower cities. Pratap moved his entire military command high into the Aravalli mountains, operating out of isolated, high-altitude stone fortresses like Kumbhalgarh. He then initiated a massive shift in his military strategy, a formal alliance with the indigenous Bhil tribes. The Bhils knew every hidden water source and mountain pass, providing Pratap with an intelligence network and a fierce guerrilla fighting force that the Mughals could not match. Pratap intentionally traded economic comfort for physical survival. He used the harsh geography and the marginalized people of Mewar to forge a defensive shield that heavy imperial cannons could not break. Because diplomacy failed, the violence arrived. In June 1576, the imperial army marched into the narrow mountain passes and clashed with Pratap's vastly outnumbered forces at the Battle of Haldighati. The Mughals won the physical battlefield that day. But Pratap survived, retreated into the Aravalli ridges, and waged a grueling guerrilla campaign that bled the Mughal forces for the next 2 decades. It took nearly 50 years for the conflict to finally end. In 1615, long after Pratap's death, the Mughals signed a treaty with his son that granted Mewar a unique, privileged status. The treaty included terms no other major Rajput house had secured. Mewar was officially exempted from forced matrimonial alliances, and the Maharana was never required to personally attend the Mughal court. The hardships of 1573 achieved a lasting goal. Pratap's refusal ensured the empire could only push so far, and it preserved Mewar's core dignity for generations. Official Mughal records tend to describe Pratap simply as a stubborn rebel who refused to join a unified state. Meanwhile, local Rajput traditions remember him as a hero who sacrificed everything for independence. But looking at the facts, the conclusion is clear. Maharana Pratap proved that sheer size and wealth are not enough to force submission. Even the most powerful empire in the world cannot consume a kingdom that is willing to lose everything to remain.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the bell notification icon.